You woke? Time to get up. Hello and welcome to Thought You're Awoke, No Speed Limit Podcast. I'm your host, Alvin. I hope you guys are having a terrific day. You know what? I enjoy doing this show for you guys. It is a blast every week to put this together just for you. So here's what I want you to do today. I want you to make sure that you are making sure you hit that notification button below. Make sure you like, follow, share, whatever platform you are on right now listening to this. Like I said, make sure you even comment below or leave a voicemail if you're on Spotify, because you can leave a voice comment there on Spotify. Today, I'm going to talk about the border for a brief second, and here's where I'm going to start. How the conservatives have seized on the border issue is interesting, to say the least. Governor Abbott of Texas has installed his version of a barrier along the Texas-Mexican border that includes barbed wire buoys along the Rio Grande and concrete barriers. Governor Abbott has even called on the National Guard. Now, the issue with this barrier is people are still trying to cross the border, and a lot of them are end up getting themselves in trouble, getting tangled in the barbed wire, or getting stuck out in the middle of the Rio Grande. This has led to the Border Patrol agents not having access to those attempting to cross the border or needing rescue. Not only that, but Texas has created a law that allows law enforcement agents to detain anyone they suspect of being illegal in the United States, or illegally in the United States, and turning them over to the Border Patrol. In other words, if you look foreign, you look like you're not an American citizen, I can detain you. I can then turn you over to the Border Patrol if you do not have proper ID. And this is another form of racial profiling, basically, that our country has allowed to happen. While the latter is under scrutiny by the courts for possibly violating ethnic profiling, the former actions of Governor Abbott has been deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. In other words, the barriers that Governor Abbott has put up along the Mexican-Texas border are illegal. In their ruling, the court said that international borders are the sole responsibility of the federal government. Governor Abbott has chosen to defy the Supreme Court and President Biden by keeping the barrier in place and denying access to Border Patrol agents, saying it is his responsibility to protect the borders of Texas. Biden has the option in this case to federalize the National Guard and have them remove the barriers and allow Border Patrol agents to do their jobs, but has yet to do so. Now, with Governor Abbott's defiance, 13 Republican governors have supported this issue, including one, Ron DeSantis of Florida, and the governor of Louisiana. And they are either considering or sending National Guard troops to Texas to assist at the border. Now, this could set up a federal versus state standoff. And a lot of people are talking about the possibility that this could cause a civil war. There's a TED Talk out there that's talking about how our country is slowly headed that direction anyway. And like I said, it's like a trap game right now being played by Governor Abbott. But it's not just Governor Abbott. Let's move on. Meanwhile, Abbott's fellow party members in Congress have chosen to do the will of their master, Donald Trump. The Senate passed bipartisan legislation that would be the most aggressive policy in the past 30 years for the border. It included adding an additional 2,500 new patrol agents, creating a barrier at the border, and allows the border to be shut down if more than 5,000 people pass through in a week. It even reshapes the amnesty program. In other words, it was a tougher version of the amnesty program, which would scrutinize people coming into the country, while still not guaranteeing citizenship for DACA children. This bill was a joint bill with funding for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, which has now caused another issue that I will talk about in a few minutes. However, Trump called on his Republican puppies to not pass the bill in an effort to hurt Biden's re-election bid. So Speaker of the House Johnson basically tabled the bill, hurting both funding for critical allies and a hefty border policy. Meanwhile, buses are still heading to so-called sanctuary cities with migrants on board, and Texas law enforcement agencies consider not using the new law imposed by the Texas State Assembly that allows them to pick up illegals because they're worried about court challenges that could potentially hurt them as local law enforcement officers. Also, the House voted 214 to 213 after a second vote to impeach the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. It is expected to fail in the Senate and is largely seen as a seriously flawed political statement on Republicans who threaten to be aggressive on border policy. Our country's foreign and domestic policy is in the hands of soon-to-be dictators who are slowly taking away our ability to compromise on bills in Congress. One thing is for sure, Republicans keep reminding us of how broken our government is and that the other side is at fault while denying their own responsibility for the problems. They have defied every effort to fix those problems and at times caused them. Remember the national debt? It's the largest increase in decades under Donald Trump. Republicans have no alternative solution to the Affordable Care Act other than to end it, possibly hurting millions of Americans who could not otherwise afford health care. They say they can fix Social Security. However, their solutions have been to privatize it or cut benefits altogether. They say they want to make a stronger military. Instead, members of Congress like Tommy Tuberville have held up necessary promotions to key positions because they're worried about the woke military policies. Oh, the Democrats don't get a pass either. Border situation has been a constant issue for them. While they have offered solutions for DACA children to receive a path to citizenship, they have constantly failed to actually get anything passed. When they had the opportunity to raise the minimum wages and put in good sense policy, police reforms, they failed. However, they did manage to pass the infrastructure bill that no other president has been able to even get off the ground. They managed to get the popular COVID child tax credit extended. However, Democrats find it hard to get any traction from their success because of concerns over Biden's age and the high price of things like food, medicine, rent, or the inability of many Americans to afford a new home. That despite rather strong economy under Biden's watch. And let's not forget the situation in the Middle East, which has taken some Democrats to go against Biden. The border crisis reflects the crisis the world is facing. Thousands of would-be immigrants are from all continents. There are people from North America, like Mexicans, Haitians, and Venezuelans. El Salvadorians and Guatemalans from South America. From the Middle East, there are Israelis, Yemenish, and Palestinians. From Asia, there are Malaysians, Chinese, and Indians. From Africa, there are Libyans, Ethiopians, Congolese, Nigerians. The same border crisis we are experiencing is happening in Europe as well. History has shown that the role that America and Europe has played in the border crisis of today. We understand what colonization has done to our globe, what the rape and pillage of resources from Africa at the expense often of corrupt governance has done to the world today, and why it's causing these immigrants to want to come to the West. What are the solutions? Part of this is progressive policies that help the home countries economically and politically become stable. Working on treaties with Mexico to handle the influx of immigrants that have also become a problem for them as well. Lastly, the states themselves need to be less combative to federal government efforts to fix the problem at the border. Simple solutions to the problem. Yet, can our government ever work together? Congress, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, doesn't matter. They need to work together to make a sensible bill work. Pass this legislation so we can fix the problems we have at hand.
You've been listening to Thought You Were Woke, No Speed Limit Podcast.